How did you keep that confidence? What about you, what inside of you said, I know I can play this level. I'm just going to keep pushing. And eventually, God's going to bring the opportunities to me.
Playing against a lot of different guys in AAU and a lot of guys in New York, I knew that was the level that I wanted to be at. That was the level that I wanted to compete at every day. Um, so just like I said, not switching up and almost like betting on myself, like knowing that I was good enough to be a Division I player at the time, and it was just a matter of time before people saw that too.
What's going on today? I'm the host, SchuZ, Schumaker, and joining me today is three-time All-CAA selection, the 2018-2019 CAA Rookie of the Year, one-time CAA All-Freshman Team selection, member of the All-CAA Tournament Team in 2021. He's a one-time CAA Tournament MVP, as well as the sixth all-time leader in scoring in Drexel history, third all-time in assists, fifth all-time in steals, 10th in plus minus, third in minutes played, and he's the newest member of Penn State, Camren Wynter. Cam, appreciate taking time to come on today, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. Well, you've gone through the recruiting process. You're one of the top 100 ranked transfers in the country, according to everyone. Obviously, a lot of people even having the top 50 because you've had an incredible career at Drexel. Utilize your extra year of eligibility now. You're heading out to Penn State. To have that weight off you now, know where you're heading for your final year of college. What's that feel like?
It honestly feels great. It just relief off my shoulders. I can finally just get in the gym and focus on just getting better instead of waking up every day just thinking about, obviously my next move.
When do you plan on getting out there, and how would you kind of plan to get yourself accustomed to the new lifestyle out there at Penn State?
I'll probably get out there in another 2 months or so, second week of June. Obviously I've been in college for 4 years, so just getting adjusted to another college probably won't be as hard for me. But that's obviously the luxury that I have of graduating and taking my extra year. So I'm just excited to get out there.
Now, there is one thing I want to get into before we talk about your story, and there's something that's in your Twitter header. It's your boyfriend is a bum. I want you to kind of take us through a little bit. What's the meaning behind that?
It was just a funny picture. One of my friends made, probably like years ago or something like that. He sent it in our group chat, and it's been my Twitter header ever since. So I don't know. I always get last from the boys from that.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're going to get into Penn State and all that in the end, but I do want people to get to know how you've become this elite point guard in the country that you are today. A guy that became one of the top players in Drexel history. So if we head all the way back to start your whole journey off, you grew up out there in New York, Hempstead to be specific. What was it like growing up out there?
New York, obviously, it's a basketball culture. A lot of basketball players just throughout New York, not even just Long Island. So just always, having that competitive culture and just hooping every day, obviously made me better.
That is something I wanted to go into because when you talk about the culture of basketball out there, and it's more specifically, obviously, East Coast, obviously Philadelphia is there, New Jersey, New York, but it's a strong basketball culture. And there have been football players and stuff that come out of there, yes, but it's not necessarily, it's clearly a basketball state. It's the most dominant place. There's a strong, rich basketball history there. Growing up in that atmosphere, what is that like?
Honestly, it's amazing. Just being able to go to the park and be able to play, and there's always people there. Like, there's always someone to play against. There's always AAU tournaments. So it honestly makes you a lot better. It honestly tests your love for basketball a little bit too, because obviously you're playing so much that you either fall in love with it or you stop playing. So that definitely tests you.
I do want to get into that, and that is the street ball type games because there aren't too many places in the country you can play those type of games anymore. So what is that like growing up in that atmosphere? Because obviously at the end of the day, it still is basketball, but I know, the rules are a lot different. It's a lot different type of game of basketball when you play out there. So what is it like playing on the court and street ball basketball out there?
It'll probably be a lot difficult for even better players. Obviously there's double rims, so it's obviously harder to shoot jump shots outside. So that's where a lot of New York guards and a lot of New York players, their ability to get to the basket and finish over and make different finishes. That's usually where it comes from, just being in the park and just learning that, you can't always rely on a jump shot out there because obviously it's out there.
How has that physicality, that dog mentality to a certain extent, how has that carried over now throughout your college career and just overall as a player throughout growing up in that environment? Like, how has that helped turn you into the player that you are today?
It helped me a lot, honestly. It helped me work harder. It helped me compete more, especially when I first got into college. Obviously, like I said before, everyone there is so competitive and it's competitive nature. So like once you get to college, obviously you're competing for whatever, and just being in that culture just felt like almost natural to me, to just be able to come in and just compete and just get better every day.
If you had to define New York basketball or just East Coast basketball as a whole, and by one word, what word would that be and why?
I probably got two words. Toughness is one of them, but I'd say like craftiness. Just players, like I said, ability to get to the basket. Obviously, street ball, so it's more freelancing. You try new things. So yeah, probably those two words define New York basketball.
There are a lot of New York legends that's come from New York. If you had to pick your favorite one, like your guy that you'd always say you either looked up to or the guy that you'd say he's the best New York player of all time, who is that?
I'm gonna go with one people probably don't know about. Isaiah Whitehead. He played at Seton Hall. He was just growing up watching him. I want to play just like him.
Now, I know you have played in a lot of those games growing up too. So if you look back at all the street ball games you played, is there one that stands out the most to you? And what's the story behind that game?
I'd probably say like when I played in Rucker, the EBC tournament was still around. We had a championship game at Rucker. Just being in there, it's a cool environment. Obviously, fans just haggling you the whole game. So, and we ended up losing. So, but yeah, that was probably my favorite street ball game, just because of obviously where it was.
I said earlier, it is still basketball, but it's a much different environment. Like you said, there's fans all around you in a lot of those type of games. The physicality is a lot different. If you had to pick, though, would you say you prefer playing more organized in a sense basketball, as in a college game or AAU game or something like that, or would you rather go out there and play a street ball game?
Right now, I'd definitely say more organized. When I was younger, I'd probably stay outside, but I mean, now at this point in my career, probably just organized basketball, where obviously guys know how to move and cut, and just been playing for a while. I feel like that's more fun.
I want to go into your family a little bit because you grew up in a basketball family. Your dad played collegiately at Nova University, and it kind of got brought into you because of that, I have to imagine, as well as just growing up in New York too. But how did the ball get put in your hands? Like, when did you first start playing, and how did you first really get that ball placed in your hands?
I probably started playing around 7 years old. My dad would just always encourage me to play. We had a basket outside. I'd just go out there, shoot. I used to lower the basket, so obviously I can make shots. But and then I just started playing like CYO when I was younger, and that turned into AAU like real quick when I was like 9 years old. Turned to AAU, and just been hooping ever since.
You also tell us if this story is true or not, but I read that for a long time in your career, you didn't want to shoot the ball that much. It was always out passing for yourself, and you would rarely shoot the ball. Take us to that story a little bit. Like, is that the truth? And what kind of led you to want to be a pass first guard for the majority of your early parts of your career?
No, that's a myth from my dad. He'd always just obviously stress on me about shooting more. I always felt the better play was getting an assist to my teammates. Obviously, like flashy one. When I was younger, I just throw a lot of behind the back passes, a lot of like no looks. So I just felt like that was cooler than scoring the ball. But I mean, obviously, as I got older, I started to develop more of a scoring mentality. But I still like to pass and obviously make it look good. So
that is something I do love about your game, though, because when you look at the way you play the game of basketball, in my opinion, I call you someone that's like a dream college point guard because you bring it all. You're a guy that can go get you 14 to 20 or 14 to 16, 17 points a game. Sometimes you score a little bit more, sometimes less. But at the same time, you can rebound the ball well. You can facilitate at a high level. You're a great defender on ball, at least, too. How have you learned to become such a great all-around player where pretty much whatever game you're going into, whatever the game plan is by the other team, you'll be able to find a way to have success in that type of game? Like, how have you been able to grow into that type of player?
I felt like just playing my first year a lot. Obviously, I was a younger guard, and it wasn't like that. The game was kind of sped up to me. But I mean, obviously, after playing a couple of years, um, I realized that basketball is more of taking what the defense gives you. So, I mean, if they play a certain way and want me to score all game, like I can do that. But if they're trying to make me a passer, I think I can also do that. So just having different obviously aspects to my game makes me a little bit harder to guard, a little bit more of a valuable piece.
Times have obviously changed since your dad went through his recruiting process and he was a collegiate player, but he still knows what it's like to play collegiately. He still has played basketball at a high level. How big has that been in your career to have someone that you can learn from, someone that could give you advice? Like, how big has that been for you in terms of you becoming the player that you are today?
It's been huge. I mean, once I got to college, it was more of it was less of being a teacher and more of just being like a dad, a supporter of what I'm doing. So if I needed something, I can go and talk to him. And it didn't even have to be basketball, or I wasn't really looking for him to help me out in a situation. It was just him listening to me and just telling me to keep going and just keep grinding. So I think just that really helped me. It made me a little more independent, finding my own way, obviously, and just trying to make a way.
Now, I've had quite a few guys that have had dads that played the collegiate level or pro level on before, and there's usually two different versions of them. One side of dads never want to play their kids because they don't want to lose them one-on-one. The other ones will gut it out for a little bit, and once they get to a certain age, they stop playing. So what about your dad? Did you guys ever get on the court and play one-on-one games?
Yeah. I mean, we used to go to the gym, just me and him, and like I used to shoot around, and then after we play one on one. But once I got a little older, and he got a little older, we kind of stopped playing. I don't even remember the last time we played.
Did you ever get some wins on him?
Yeah, somewhat. He's 6'7", so I'll start scoring. He'll just start backing me down when I was younger.
So at what point in your career did you start really saying, okay, this is not just a sport that I love. Obviously, you still love the game of basketball. It's great in that aspect, but it's something that you say, not only do I want to play this through high school, this is something that I have a dream of playing at the collegiate level. If God's got long-term stuff in terms of pros, maybe that's even in store, yes. But I just want to make this something that I can truly pursue with everything I've got. When did that start settling in? When did you really start settling in on basketball being what's in your future?
Probably like my second year, sophomore year of high school, I realized that obviously I can go somewhere with this. I felt like before that I was just playing to play almost. Like I was good at the sport, but I was just playing to have fun. And then once I became like a sophomore in high school, I really just started working out more and just been putting all I got into it. And obviously it paid off.
I want to go into your high school career, but before we start up talking about that, if someone would have came and told you that you were going to become a Division I player following your high school career, more like I guess after your post grad year, but you were still going to be able to play at a college level, would that have shocked you, or was that something that you expected heading into high school?
I mean, obviously you can never expect something like that heading into high school, but I don't think it would have shocked me, but it definitely would have just made me work harder. Just knowing that was the destiny for me, and obviously I always believed in myself that I could make it this far, but yeah, you can never expect it out of yourself.
We'll go through in a second, but it obviously wasn't the easiest recruiting journey for yourself. But if going into high school, where would you say your mentality was in terms of college? Do you think you were going to be someone that could possibly play at a high major school right out the gate? Do you think you were going to be someone that just wanted to play somewhere collegiately? Or what type of player do you think you'd become in 4 or 5 years when you're heading into high school?
I just wanted to become obviously a Division I player at the highest level possible. I wanted to always be a high major player, of course. I think I could have made that happen a couple of years ago, but I just felt like it was the best decision for me to stay here. So, and now I get to do what I've wanted to do for a while.
Let's go into that freshman year of high school for yourself. What was that first year like for you?
It was fun. We had a good team. Obviously a lot of jokes, but we were a good team and we won the freshman championship. And Uh, at my school, no one really plays varsity as a freshman.
Mhm.
So yeah, we had a real good freshman team. We were honestly just running people. So
Now, you were at a school that has had a lot of basketball success. The varsity team at that point, I believe, also won state championship or made it very far that year as well at Holy Trinity. But why was that originally the school you wanted to go to? Why was Holy Trinity the place that you wanted to start off your high school career at?
I just feel like in all of my basketball decisions, I use I usually go with the place I feel most comfortable, have the best relationship with the coach. Um, and honestly, that's true in every decision I've made. I was real close with Coach Conifrey, and he wanted me to come there. And obviously, that's the move I decided to make at the end of the day.
Like you said, it wasn't necessarily something that's too common for a freshman to play on varsity, but I have to imagine that, especially not knowing the player that you are today, that you probably would have wanted to play on varsity if that was an opportunity for yourself. Were you okay playing on the freshman team, or how did you take that in at that point in time?
I was okay with playing freshman. We had other good players that were also playing freshmen, so
Mhm.
it wasn't really a knock to anyone. And obviously, that year we were our team was state champions. So I mean, we had a good team. And when you get to high school or when you get anywhere, it's more about playing than it is about just being on the team. So just that opportunity to play and obviously create chemistry with other good players was helpful for all of us in the end.
You mentioned earlier that sophomore year was the year you really started buying into the game of basketball and realizing that you had something that you could get your school paid for at that point. And I also read another story too that you ended up having to sit down with your dad at some point during that sophomore year or before or something where you guys basically said, okay, my lifestyle's going to have to change a little bit. I'm going to have to truly buy into this game, put a lot more work into it. Walk us that conversation a little bit and what ultimately led to you turning into the place you are now because of that conversation.
I mean, that conversation helped me a lot. I was spending a lot of time with my friends. Like we were, I mean, we're all still really close, but just obviously spending a lot of time and not putting that same time into basketball. So I mean, we had to sit down and talk about it, and ever since then, I've kind of just been locked in. Obviously, still spending time with my friends, but spending more time on getting better.
Was that something that your dad just came in and said, okay, let's sit down, let's have a conversation? Was it something that you basically were just asking your dad, saying, okay, am I doing all the work that needs to be done to get to this level? Or how did that conversation come to be?
Uh, it was a conversation that he brought to light.
Mhm.
Um, he just felt like I wasn't putting my all into it, and he was right at the end of the day. So I guess I could say that conversation probably saved me.
So let's talk about that sophomore season then. What was that second year of high school like for yourself?
It was interesting. I went from not playing that much at the beginning of the season on varsity to obviously playing in spurts and um, playing some key minutes and making some timely shots for us. But that year was more of like a learning year for me. Just playing behind other players that were seniors, and not getting as much playing time as I wanted to, but it helped me help my character just sticking things out.
So at that point in time, then following your sophomore season, where were you in terms of basketball? Were you thinking that you still were going to become a Division One player? Were you kind of saying, okay, where am I going to go with this? Or where were you confidence wise in terms of becoming a Division One or college player after that sophomore season?
I thought I could become a college basketball player.
Mhm.
I played up like I played 17U since I was in ninth grade. Like I played varsity, so I just felt like my time was coming, and I was just maturing a little bit and just obviously getting better. Just being in varsity practice every day and really going at guys just helped me.
Walk us through that mindset of playing up that many years because that is something that I am something that's pretty high on. I know in today's world, a lot of guys do the reclassing in middle school or elementary school where they're basically a year older than guy that they're playing. But then there are a select group of guys that you see they decide to play up, and sometimes it may not allow them to shine as much throughout high school and AAU and all that. But long run, when you get to college, we see the benefits of doing that. So, who brought that decision to you? Was that something that you just wanted to play up? Was it your dad, your parents that decided that for you, or what led you to want to go and play up throughout high school?
It was more of a decision my dad wanted to make. I mean, he thought that it would help me get better, just playing against bigger, stronger guys. And it all made sense because obviously I was going to play varsity, and that's what I would have to deal with, and not kids my age. So just playing up really helped me getting better, and it pushed me a lot.
Now, at this point in time, when you're going through your junior season and eventually heading to your senior year, that's when a lot of guys are getting the offers and taking the visits and getting recruiting offers and all this type of stuff's going on. For you, that wasn't the case. You still were going through them, playing at a high level, especially upperclassmen years, but the offers weren't coming at that point in time. So how did you take that stuff in?
Obviously, it annoyed me a little bit. It made me work hard, but also made me think a lot, like, about can I actually do this? Even though I was one of the better players where I was from. So I mean, me and my mom used to talk a lot, and she used to be like, "If it's for you, then it's for you." Like God has a plan for you almost.
Mm-hmm. That junior season, you get more of a role. Walk us that year. What was your junior year of high school like?
I mean, that was really the first year that I was able to be me, like play like myself. And I thought I kind of jumped right into that role and kind of just took off with it a little bit, and became one of the main scorers, top one, top two scorers on the team.
You head into the senior year, and this is by far your best year of high school basketball. You end the season as an all-state member. You end the season as the Catholic High School Player of the Year. You have all these different awards and accolades. You guys have a successful year, 15-9 record. Were you expecting to have that type of breakout season your senior year?
Yeah, I mean, I worked hard all summer, like just changing my body a little bit, getting stronger, just doing things that I felt like the average kid in my position wasn't doing. So I felt like once the season started, I was just hungry, and that summer just helped me out a lot, just in terms of being ready, being stronger, and having that mentality.
Take us to that season because, like I said, you have a breakout year. You become the guy. You become one of the best players in the entire state. What was that final year of high school basketball like for yourself?
It was crazy because I never thought that obviously that year would come.
Mm-hmm.
It all went so quick, but once that season came, I realized like this is my last season in high school. So
Mm-hmm.
I had really no other choice but to give it all I had and put my all into it.
Something that is a little interesting to me, and that is that a lot of guys that I feel like, at least my opinion, in the New York area, New Jersey area, Philadelphia, that for some reason now, a lot of guys have been coming out that's underrated now. There's not as much media attention in terms of, and obviously I'm not someone that's big on rankings. I think they're ridiculous in terms of a lot of things, but even for offers, and we see how historically great they are. We see how many great players are still produced out of there. I mean, you see someone like Jose Alvarado, he was hardly recruited out there, got opportunity at Georgia Tech, and the rest is history now. And the list goes on. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you feel like there's so many guys that are these strong guards like yourself and Jose and all these different players that are, for whatever reason, coming out under recruited, underranked? And like, why do you feel like that's the reason?
I don't know. A lot of people think New York is down. Honestly, in my opinion, I played against Jose for forever, and he's a dog. Like he's better than a lot of other players I played against that are supposed to be, obviously have all the hype around them. But I just feel like people probably think that our games aren't like West Coast kids or like pro like almost. We bring a different aspect to the game of basketball. And nowadays it's all about potential and does he have a pro game? And probably West Coast kids probably fill that box a little more as pro ready kind of people. But at the end of the day, like New York has a lot of skilled dudes that are dogs, and you can't really take that away from someone, and you can't put that into somebody. So
When you look back at your 4-year high school career, what would you say was your favorite memory that you had?
probably we played a home game against Chaminade. Obviously, I had some Division I guys on their side. We had some Division I guys on our side at the end of the day. And I just had a terrible first quarter, and then I ended up with like almost 40. It was like a packed out game. You couldn't hear in there. The ground was shaking. So that was definitely my favorite memory. Just it was an overtime win, so just coming away with that win and having that much of an impact was definitely my favorite moment.
If you have to look back at all the guards you played and matched up against, obviously a lot of great forwards and centers too, but out of all the guards you played against throughout your high school career, give us your top 3, or even if you have one that just stood out more than anyone else, who was that one guard then?
Like I said before, probably Jose.
Yeah.
Just he plays with great pace and just he's always up in you. And on offense, he's fast, but like I said, he plays at his own pace and he gets a shot off and strong. He's almost a do-it-all point guard. Obviously, he had Kofi on his team too, so that helped him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's a great player.
Something else that we mentioned a little bit earlier was the dog mentality, and there's a little bit difference in dog mentalities in each different area of the world. But something about New York is that not all guys, but a lot of them have the trash talking side of them as well. And I know Jose definitely has that aspect to him. A lot of different guys do. What's it like in terms of the trash talk in New York? What is that like?
I mean, sometimes it gets heated. I mean, a lot of guys talk trash but have like jokes behind them, so it's not as bad as people portray it to be. But I mean, that obviously ups the level of the game and it makes it more intense. And like I said, that's when people's competitive nature comes out, is when people are talking trash to you. So I mean, that just helps the whole culture of the game.
Who's the best trash talker you've ever played against?
Ooh. I don't even know the answer to that one. I don't know. That's a good one.
You have a couple that stand out to you, maybe top 2 or 3 or something like that?
I know Tyson Walker talks a lot of trash. That's my guy. So I always hear him. He talks a lot, but probably one of the top people I've ever heard talk trash I played with. So at Drexel, but yeah, I don't know.
Did you ever get into any of the trash talking? And if so, like, what's your best trash talking moment you've ever had if you ever got into it with anyone?
I'm usually a little bit quiet during the game. Like I make sporadic comments. Like I said, more of like I like to make jokes on the court. Keep things loose. So I don't really go back and forth too much.
So at that point in time, then you wrap up your high school career. And at that point in time, for a lot of guys, they decide to go to college, they have the offers, they go to the next stage of their career. You're at a point where you still had confidence in yourself. You said, I want to become a Division I player. I know I'm at that level, but I didn't have all the offers I wanted at that point in time. So you decided to make the move out to go post-grad, DME, and to go into. Take the decision, like what led you to go out there and take a post-grad year, and why did you ultimately make that decision?
I had offers, Division II offers that I didn't want. Obviously, I thought I was the Division I player, and obviously just taking a chance on myself and saying I'm not going to settle for going there, and I'm going to try to maximize my potential. So I obviously went to did a post grad year at a place where I could just focus on basketball and just get better every day, and that's exactly what I did. And at the end of the day, it worked out for me.
I also read another part that your dad told you to consider Division II, and obviously we have heard stories now. And now, obviously, if you look back at it, you could have went Division II to D1 because of the whole COVID thing too, a lot more easier. But was it ever something you considered? Would you, at any point in your career, just start saying, why not I look at some of these Division II? Maybe that is something that God's got in store for me, or was that something you just said, I appreciate the offer, but I'm just going Division I. It's my only option for myself.
More of I appreciate the offer. I'm going Division I. That was kind of my mindset, and I wasn't really willing to switch up for and honestly any school. I had my mindset that I would be a good Division I player, so I just kept at it.
Now, when you look back at yourself, obviously anyone would say you clearly were right. You were a Division I player all along. But when you talk about having no offers when colleges wanting you, even though you had great numbers in New York when you're playing out there your senior year, your dad even was saying, okay, you could consider Division II as well. How did you keep that confidence? What about you, what inside of you said, I know I can play this level. I'm just going to keep pushing, and eventually God's going to bring the opportunities to me?
Obviously, the guys I've played against, just playing against a lot of different guys in AAU and a lot of guys in New York, I knew that was the level that I wanted to be at. That was the level that I wanted to compete at every day. So just like I said, not switching up and almost like betting on myself, like knowing that I was good enough to be a Division I player at the time, and it was just a matter of time before people saw that too.
So you head into that post-grad season, you have a great year. You average 14 points a game, 6 assists, 2.5 steals per game. What was that post-grad year like?
It was interesting. It was obviously something that I've never done before. I was obviously away from my family down in Florida, so kind of like the first time I was really on my own, and it was a good adjustment for me, and it helped me obviously find myself a little bit, just being independent and getting in the gym basically all day, it really upped my game. I felt a lot more confident after my post grad year that I was definitely a Division I player after that.
That's something that I am super high on guys doing. I tell a lot of guys that are in high school that going to rather than be a prep level where you see guys go to like the IMGs or Montverts or Easy Compasses or something like that for your final year or two of high school, or going and taking a post grad year, getting that experience where it's not college yet, but you're away from family. You have to learn how to maintain life by yourself while still playing the game of basketball and getting better. And that's something that's huge to get guys ready for college. So, how big was that for you so that by the time you were a freshman out there at Drexel, like how much did that prepare you for your freshman season then in college?
It prepared me a lot, honestly. Just having weights in the morning and then having practice right after that. Once I got to college, it was like almost like I already did this before. I mean, obviously, when you get to college, the levels up a little bit with the quality of players around you and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. But in terms of like my day being broken up into different segments when it comes to basketball and working out, it helped me a lot. And I was probably more ready than other freshmen were when they came in.
When you were going through that season, did you feel any sense of pressure on yourself knowing that, I got about one season left of potentially playing Division One. Now there are other opportunities going JUCO, Division Two, and working your way up or whatever. But to play Division One the following season, like there's only so much time left for me to get that offer. Was there any pressure that you put on yourself, or how did you deal with that?
Um, I mean, as stressful as it was, I kind of just always went to the gym to clear my mind. That was the first time I really had like access to the gym like all day at night and all that. So I would just go to the gym, clear my mind, and just that was probably the season that I played the most free in terms of just uh, really understanding the game, making the right reads, and becoming like a better point guard.
Now, I do want to go a lot more deeper now through this whole recruiting process and a little bit on ranking aspect because I mentioned earlier, I've been someone who's pretty vocal about I don't care what rankings really say, their numbers, they're not ever accurate anyways, and for various reasons. For
Right.
yourself, though, and I know it's hard for anyone that's going through high school or the recruiting process, you of course would love to have the 5 stars, the 4 stars, the 3 star being ranked. Did that ever get to you, seeing all these guys that were in your area or guys that you played against being ranked and you weren't? Did that ever get to you at any point throughout high school?
I mean, of course, you look at it and you know that you're better than somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting all these offers and have 5 stars. But at the end of the day, you got to run your own race, kind of thing. So uh, just not getting caught up too much in the rankings. I felt like I was never really somebody who would watch the rankings or see who's ranked. I kind of just played like. At the end of the day, rankings are rankings, and you got to produce when you get on the court.
Now, I've got to ask you if you go back, I know it was wow, 4 years ago though, but do you feel that looking back at that, you were supposed to be in those rankings, or was it just the fact that you now have developed so much throughout the past 4 years that you become the player you are? If so, then where would you also say you would probably rank yourself if you were to go back in a 2018 class and rank yourself?
I mean, I definitely developed in the last 4 years, just putting different touches on my game. Um, I mean, now I feel like I'm better than a lot of dudes that were ranked at that time. But just obviously getting better throughout college has helped me complete my game. Would I say I should be ranked at that time? Probably maybe not, but
Mhm.
um, I mean, obviously right now I feel like it's a different story.
Let's say you had more attention on yourself and you were able to get Division One offers before you went and took the post grad season. Would you have been as ready to go into college then? Do you think you could have had as much of an impact your freshman year as you did after your post grad year, or did that post grad year really help you become the player that you were as quickly as you were in college?
I feel like that post grad year helped me become a quick impact player. Um, Obviously, just not getting caught up in the high school and living alone. Like I almost already did that, so it was kind of like when I got to college, it was like it's all business almost when I first got here. I mean, my main goal was to just play and get on the court, and I was willing to do whatever so I can play a lot, and that just helped me build trust with the coaches.
So let's go through that recruiting process for yourself then. You go through that post-grad season and then a few different offers come to the table. I know you had interest from a few others as well, but when was that very first offer and who was it? Like, take us to that story of how you got the very first Division I offer.
I think Kennesaw State was my first offer.
Mm-hmm.
They had offered me a couple of days after I got back from prep school. I mean, it was obviously a little far in Georgia, but I was in Florida, so I was kind of cool with that. But then obviously Drexel came along, and it was just I felt like it was a perfect opportunity for me, and obviously what they had and what they needed, and my relationship with all those coaches at the time just made it just a good fit for me.
I have to imagine you got that first Division I offer. You had to have a huge sense of relief because of everything we just talked about, all the long journey of getting to this point and finally getting that first Division I offer. What was your reaction when you got that news?
I was obviously happy, relieved. I mean, my parents were both happy for me, just knowing how much work I put into getting to that point, and um, we were all just happy, but we knew that wasn't the end. There was more to be done.
So what was about Drexel? How did they come in and Coach Spiker come in and say, pretty much land you? Because you did have obviously a few different offers were on the table for yourself. What was it about them and how did they ultimately land you?
Like I said, just my personal relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, obviously, Coach, when you're playing, it's not really rare it's not really usual for a Division I head coach to come see you all the time,
Mm-hmm.
especially when a guy like me who's under recruited and everything. So just him coming to see me and uh, talking to me every day, and I just felt most comfortable with going there. It was obviously in Philadelphia, which isn't too far from my house. So, like I said, it was the best fit.
All right, so let's go into the freshman season then out that Drexel, and you have an incredible season. You get Conference Rookie of the Year. You become an impact player, pretty much star player from the very first game and days out there. So, were you expecting that when you were going through training camp and the off-season workouts and everything? Did you think that you'd come in and start 30 or 32 games and be that good of a player your freshman year?
No, I didn't. We had other good players. I thought I was just going to be a guy off the bench that provided scoring and defense. I mean, I thought I had the chance to play a lot, but obviously I didn't think I was going to come in and be a starter and be a main focal point of the team.
When did you start realizing that and saying, I can actually play this level? I know I can be a Division I player now. I know I can be a huge impact, possibly one of our best players as well. When did that start clicking for you?
I mean, obviously throughout those summer workouts, I thought I had a chance to obviously play a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a foreign tour that year, so we played a couple games and um, against some pro teams, and I just thought that uh, I was good enough for the level. But when we played LaSalle in like my third game, and I played pretty well. I had like 18 points or something like that, and that's when I really was like, I could really play at this level. I could be good.
I want to go into your relationship with Coach Spiker because you guys have developed a pretty strong bond throughout that 4 year span. You becoming the point guard who obviously everyone has a relationship with Coach, but that point guard has to be close and on the same page as Coach because you're pretty much all the coach on the court, especially when you're the type of player that you are too that goes to the offense and everything that you do. So, how did that relationship grow from the time he first started recruiting you to today? How much has that relationship between you two grown?
A lot. I mean, he put a lot of trust into me. He almost told me like everything he's thinking like throughout practice, like when he's watching us play, he'll call me over and just talk about what I see, talk about what he sees, and just having that repetition every single day just grew our relationship a lot more. um, Obviously I'm a type of player like I always want to learn, I always want to get better. um, like I don't really take criticism too heavy. So just him pushing me to get better and telling me what I need to do, and I just made it a point to do that. I think once I started getting better, he started to trust me more and realized obviously how serious I was.
At what point of your college career would you say that you two clicked? All of a sudden, you just felt like, we're on the same page now. I know what he wants. He knows what I want. Like, you guys were working together, the same page. Everything worked together well. When did that happen for you two?
I don't know, probably some point in my sophomore year. Obviously, my freshman year, there's a lot of ups and downs. Sophomore year, like first part of sophomore year, starting to see things a little more, and probably like towards the end of my sophomore year, where I've obviously seen every coverage and what teams are trying to do, and we talk about it mid game. So I like going in my junior year, it was just we thought we had enough to win. But obviously, I felt like I was the best player in the league. So yeah.
You got to give us your favorite memory of Coach Spiker between all the ups and downs you guys had on the court, off the court. What's the funniest, the first memory that comes to mind when you think about him?
The funniest memory, I know he can't do math. He tries to do math in the middle of film, and I'm just the one that's going to correct him and be like, no, it's wrong. Funny now, but wasn't funny at the time. I don't know. He's kicked me out of practice a couple of times. Obviously, we're both competitive. We go back and forth. So, yeah, that's probably the funniest memory now that we talk about.
That is a unique thing because anyone that stays out of program for more than 2 years, and especially someone that's a star player, that's not something that people really know happens that much, but it's something that commonly does happen, especially for guys that are leaders in the team. So take us that a little bit, because I think if more fans knew about those stories, they'd be a little more confused. How does a player that's as good as you are and a coach get into it at one practice and all of a sudden they're cool again? How does that work? And at the same time, like, how did that help make your guys bond stronger by going through different situations throughout your guys' careers?
I mean, it's all about it's all out of competitiveness. Maybe that day we weren't playing good enough, and usually the easiest way to do it is you go at the guy who leads your team, or you go at one of your better players to up everyone else's level, and just obviously as a player you shouldn't go back and forth with your coaches, but if you have a certain bond with them and they understand where you're coming from, it's okay to be that competitive with each other. So I mean, obviously that happens, but like the next day you come in, you just obviously have to adjust your mindset a little bit.
Do you think Coach was surprised by how good you were as a freshman, or do you think that's what he expected for you to become a starting point guard for this team? Like, what do you think his expectations were for you from the first year of your career there?
I think right now he'll say, yeah, I expected him to do that. But, I don't think he did. I think he wanted me to be obviously a solid role player in my first year and come in and like I said, help run the offense and be more of a defensive presence. But I think once we started, getting into off-season workouts and doing different things, he realized the type of player that I was.
Now, I know for your case, it wasn't necessarily that you had countless offers to high majors and all that coming out of your post-grad season, but at the end of the day, you found the best fit. You found a place that you could go into and excel at from the very first season on. That's something that we see year in year again through rather the transfer portal now or high school recruits. They go and pick a school because of the name, or they think it looks cool, or it's a big name coach, something like that, when there might have been a school that's a much better fit. And in reality, a couple of years later, they could end up transferring and going to a different place anyways. How important is it for a guy to basically set aside now and say, this might be different opportunities for me at this point in my career, but this is the best fit. It might not be the coolest looking, the best fit, or the best looking name or whatever, but it's the best fit for me. How critical is that for a player to find that fit?
I mean, obviously it's everything.
Yep.
It's your playing time. It's how you feel every day when you wake up. I feel like social media probably ruined the way people look at schools a little bit. Some people just do it all for the name and whatever you want to call it, but it's all about fit. It's all about where you think you could be the best version of yourself at, and that's really all that matters. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be playing all the minutes, and you're going to be the one that's playing every practice. So, I mean, obviously, basketball is situation based, so you just got to find the best situation for you.
I want to go to that freshman season because, as I said, it was spectacular. You win Conference Rookie of the Year. You are a starting player for your team for the majority of the year. Averaged 11 points a game, right under 5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.5 steals per game. What was that first year in college like for yourself?
I I would say it was fun. Just really not knowing anything, or as much as I know now, it was kind of just like running around, just trying to make plays. And at the end of the day, like I ended up making them, but it was kind of like playing at that time. Our league had a lot of NBA guys, and we had a lot of good players in our league. So like I said, I was kind of just running around trying to make plays and trying to make a name for myself a little bit.
Did you have a freshman wake up moment that season? Rather that be with your own team at practice throughout the summer or preseason or normal practice during the season or one of your first games of college career where you just said, shoot, this is college basketball. I have to play at a whole different level now. Like this is different than anything I've done before. Did you have that freshman wake up moment?
Yeah, mine came pretty early. Mine came in the first game. I forget his name. We're playing Eastern Michigan, and they're supposed to be, a tournament team that year. They're good, and they put me on like the best player, and he was obviously like I changed my body a little bit, but he was way stronger than me. He was like a senior, and he hit me with a like couple shoulders in the chest for like a step back and just drained them. And I was like, oh, if this is college, I need to get back in the gym.
And that is something that you adapted. And I'm not sure what point is. So that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about, because I've heard your coaches now talk about you and rave about you as a player that whatever time your practice was, you were going to get there early. If that was a 3 o'clock practice, you're going to be there at 11 o'clock or something like that and go get something to eat, then come back. If it was early morning practice, you'd still get there an hour and a half early. Was that a mindset you established from the day one in your college career that take time to develop, or when did you start putting in the extra work?
I felt like after my freshman year, or even after every year, uh, I just focused on things I didn't do well last season, and I tried to improve those things. So just doing that after my freshman year, getting in the gym, even though we had workouts, getting in the gym at different times and trying to improve my game. Um, and then I just carry that into the season, just trying to get extra shots up before practice. Usually after practice, I'm tired, so I try to do it before practice. So uh, just developing that mindset throughout my junior, senior year, a little bit in my sophomore year, just made me that much better.
The one thing that you had to improve on, and as you mentioned a little bit earlier, you probably could have entered the portal and gone to a bigger school earlier on. But part of the reason that you become such a great elite point guard now in today's game is that you developed that 3-point shot. And that wasn't a part of your game your freshman year. I mean, you obviously shot the ball, but it wasn't at a high percentage. Now you look at it, you've been a guy that shoots right around 40% or higher ever since about your sophomore year, midway through at least, and then up until this point. So what led to that jump? How did you go from being someone that your liability, your weakness was on the shooting abilities to now becoming someone that has to be a respectable shooter?
I mean, I felt like I was always a pretty like a good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I just spent, I think it was after my sophomore year, or no, after my freshman year, I spent time with one of the assistants, and I just tweaked my whole jumper, just getting a lot more backspin on it, shooting it faster, obviously messing with my hand placement a little bit, and just doing that really helped me improve on my jump shot and just get more confident in it. Um, so I feel like that was probably the biggest adjustment that I've made in college so far is just changing my jump shot.
Let's go into your sophomore season. And that year as a team wasn't the best, 14-19 record, but you have a huge jump. You go from averaging right around 11 points to averaging nearly 16 a game. Then you average about 4 rebounds a game still, 5 assists a game, almost 2 steals a game this year. What led to that jump personally for you? How were you able to make that big of a jump going into your sophomore season?
Just being more confident in myself. Obviously, after playing a year, I felt like I see different things and just becoming better. So uh, that 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 summer, I put in a lot of work. Like I said, tweaked my jump shot a little bit. So just being in the gym that many hours helped me instill confidence in myself and helped me perform better on the court.
You had a special moment that season as well, and that is that you crossed the 1,000 point mark as a sophomore. There's very few players that do that in this country. It's an extremely small list. So, what was it like crossing that milestone that early on in your career?
I mean, it was obviously huge. I didn't end up getting 1,000 points when I was in high school. We had obviously a couple of us had like 900 something in high school. So just being able to do that in college was a big accomplishment for me. And it was something that I was obviously proud of and a mark that I was trying to reach.
You go through that sophomore season, then you head into your junior year. But the thing that kind of propelled yourself into that year was at the end of the sophomore season, COVID comes into play, and we know how that affects everyone. Take us through for you, though, when that did start happening, everyone gets put into lockdown and quarantine, all that stuff. What was going through your mind? How did you address that offseason heading into your junior year then?
I just kept trying to work hard. Obviously, COVID kind of messed things up, but even though I was home, I still tried to get in the gym, not get in the gym, obviously, but shoot outside and go to the track, stay in shape, and just kept trying to work on my body to get better.
So at that point in time, were you able to go back home? Were you in New York during that time span? Were you still out there at Drexel, or where were you during the COVID pandemic offseason?
I was at home, so I just obviously shot around in my driveway and just kept trying to get better. Obviously, it made it hard, but it obviously upped my level of hunger, I would say.
And now that junior year was complicated for everyone, and everyone I've talked to says pretty much the same thing. They were happy they could play basketball because that wasn't always the case for a lot of people. No one knew if you guys were going to play heading into the season. And then obviously every game was up in the air. But at the very same time, though, it was not the funnest year. You guys had to go through a ton of protocols. It wasn't fans. The list goes on. How did you handle your junior season going through all the obstacles you had to go through in terms of COVID?
Obviously, it was hard not knowing if we were going to play every game or just not knowing what the next thing was going to be for us. It made it difficult just because we had to follow different protocols, and it was obviously a hard time for everybody. But we just tried to make the best out of it. Obviously, we had games canceled for like 2 weeks straight, 3 weeks straight. And we just practiced. So I mean, obviously that was hard mid-season, but we tried to make it work.
As a leader at that point in time, because that's your upperclassman year and you officially are once again the go-to guy, you led the team, had your best career season at that point in time. How are you leading this team? Because I know anyone you talked to had a lot of obstacles that they were going through as well as the team. How as a team, you as a leader at that point in time, how did you help get the guys together and still produce a year that you guys ultimately of going to the tournament
I mean, we just felt like everybody was going through the same thing. So
in?
to use that as for us to use that as an excuse was obviously just not right because everybody was going through the same thing, and we just came in every day and tried to get better. Obviously, we didn't really have classes to go to or anything, and less work to deal with at that time. So it was really just basketball, 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 and we kind of just tried to lock in as much as we could.
You have the incoming player on that year's team who didn't have too much of a role that year. This year becomes someone that you form a dynamic duo with in Xavier Bell. What was the addition of him like? Getting him out there, like I said, that first year didn't have too much of an impact, just a solid rotational piece. But seeing the way that developed into you guys forming that dynamic duo, what was it like playing alongside him?
It was great. I mean, we're real cool off the court, but on the court, I feel like our games kind of complement each other a little bit. He's more of an inside finisher. He operates kind of in the paint a little bit while being able to shoot the three, and he likes to run the floor. So I try to find him as much as I can and just kind of just play off each other.
So did you expect to have that jump? Because every statistical category for yourself improves quite a bit, except for rebounds you dipped a little bit in, but you had your career season at that point in time. Did you expect to have that jump going into your junior year, even though you didn't have a typical offseason?
I mean, that type of jump, no, but I felt like, I mean, obviously I kept trying to work as much as I could. And obviously being in quarantine, I feel like made me a little bit hungrier to just play the game of basketball. And I mean, once it was finally time to play, I feel like I couldn't wait.
As everyone knows, when March turns, a lot of different heroes arise. And that was the case for you guys, but yourself especially, because you guys had a decent overall year, was up and down. But when you guys got to that tournament, you guys come away winning the conference championship. Then you guys obviously get to go to the March Madness tournament. What flipped though for you? Because you turned into one of the best players in the entire country in that month of March. What led to that outburst for yourself all of a sudden you guys got to conference tournament play?
I feel like as a team, we upped our level once March came. I felt like throughout the year we felt like we were the best team in the conference. Ended up playing a lot of away games, and most of our games got canceled. So once the tournament came around, we just felt like it was our time to make some noise, and I just felt like it was on me to lead the team and just get them going. So I just tried to do the best that I could, whether it was scoring the ball or getting other people involved to try to lead us to the tournament.
As you're going through that run and you ultimately become champions and you become MVP of the tournament, what was that moment like for yourself?
It was incredible just knowing everything, all the work that you put in. Obviously, just going back to high school and my post grad year, it was just like almost all the hard work it was paying off just in that moment. It was obviously extremely. It hasn't happened here in a while before that, so it was obviously an extremely emotional moment for obviously alums and coaches and everything. So it was obviously a great moment and something I would put in my top moments of life.
So you guys go into this tournament, and it's a unique situation where I've heard everyone else once again goes to this bubble. It's something that's a blessing to just get to be a part of March Madness. It's an incredible event and all that, but off the court, it wasn't the best. It was heavy protocols, and you guys had to stay in your room for 2 days when the very first got out there as well. So take us to that. You guys get into that bubble. What was it like off the court in there?
We try to make the best we could out of it. Just our team is kind of like goofy, a lot of jokes, and like we'll do whatever. So I mean, throughout obviously the first 2 days we couldn't leave our room, but like we would just hang out in the hallway and like just do random stuff. I don't know, but obviously I think it made our team closer. But yeah, it was a pretty boring week though. I'll give you that.
Who's the funniest teammate you've had so far in college?
Probably I got a couple. I'd say probably Sam Green. He goes to Howard. I don't know, Jarvis Doles. He goes to Albany now, and probably my guy Zach Walton.
So where would you rank yourself up there? Are you more towards that top tier? Are you more laid back in the locker room, or where would you rank yourself in terms of the funny players in the locker room each year?
I'm at the top. I'm at the top for sure.
Now go back into that bubble and that term experience. Was that game the outcome you guys wanted to against Illinois? Probably not, but you just get to have a moment that will forever be a part of history. You guys were part of the first tournament back from COVID. It was in the bubble, hopefully the only time it's ever going to occur for anybody. You just get to experience the thing that everyone grows up wanting to be a part of March Madness. So to step on that court and play in March Madness, what was that like for yourself?
It was kind of like a surreal moment, just knowing that I've watched that tournament so many times on TV and just being a part of it now was just obviously amazing. Playing the number one seed, obviously a tall task, but I mean it was something that we weren't going to back down from, and we just felt like if it whatever happens, the better team will win. But it was obviously a great experience.
Now, I want to talk to you about heading into your senior year then, because at that point in time, we know that the rule came into play about the transfer portal. This obviously the second year now, but at that point, you could have went at that point and gone somewhere else. I'm sure just about as many high majors programs would have wanted you then as well. But at the same time, too, you knew you had that extra year of eligibility that was going to be granted to you if you wanted to take that. So were you considering transferring at that point in time after your junior year at all? Did that cross your mind, or did you say, I want to spend the year at Drexel, then transfer out? Like, what was your plan after last season?
I mean, obviously I thought about it, but just it made the most sense for me to stay. Drexel's not the easiest academic school, and I already did 3 years here. So just graduating from here and knowing that I'll have that extra year if I want it was really, really helpful in my decision. It made my decision really easy, honestly. Just knowing that next year if I graduate, I can go to and transfer if I want to. So I mean, my decision was pretty easy.
Was this kind of the plan all along? Obviously, you didn't know Penn State, but in terms of heading into the season, knowing that, okay, I'm going to finish out this career with as much legacy as I possibly can build up for myself, and then I want to move on to the next stage of my career somewhere else. Obviously, I'm sure if something would have happened, you got NBA experience opportunities, I'm sure you probably would consider that too. But was it kind of always the plan in terms of the outline of going to the portal after your senior year then? Was that kind of what you planned on?
I definitely thought about it. This whole year, I kind of tried to stay in the moment and stay where my feet was and not think about what I'm going to do after the season. And I think I kind of did that to an extent, but once the season was over, I kind of already knew what I was going to do personally. I just felt like it was time to make a change for myself. and obviously I'm a competitor, so I just wanted to go somewhere where I can compete every day in and out and just get better. Obviously, I want to be a pro, so I just got to keep getting better every day.
Well, let's go into your senior year then, because you once again have an incredible season. You guys go 15-14 as a team, and you had a really solid senior year once again this year. So what was your final year at Drexel like?
It was kind of surreal, just knowing that everything was going to come to an end for me. I just tried to give the best effort that I had every day, and just live with the outcome. So I felt like we could have been a lot better, and we underachieved a little bit this season. But at the end of the day, I made a lot of great relationships here in my last year that will carry me forever.
You look back at all the memories you created throughout your college career at Drexel. What was your favorite memory you made?
I mean, obviously going to the tournaments up there as one, but I would just say just the time I spend with my teammates and the guys in the locker room off the court are the best memories. I mean, on the court is always fun, but off the court is when you really get to know somebody and know what they're about.
And there have been quite a few good players. I know obviously not all people that cover basketball, unless you cover the different conferences throughout all the country, that they might realize how much talent is in the CAA, but you played in it throughout the past 4 years. So who would you say was your favorite matchup? If you could pick one guy you went up against, whether it be only one time throughout your career when you were a freshman, they were a senior or something, or a couple times throughout your career, like who was your favorite battle against?
Um, I would say Grant Riller. Um, or Justin Wright Foreman, but I'll say Grant Riller because I played against him a little more than Justin. But yeah, I mean, he could have played at any school in the country. Obviously, he's in the NBA now, but just he was a guy that I kind of seen play when I was a freshman and sophomore, and I tried to take a little bit of stuff from what he had because I thought he was a great player.
At the same time now, you look back at your career and you've cemented yourself as one of the better players in Drexel history. As I mentioned in the intro, the top 10 in scoring, assists, steals, plus minus, minutes played. You're inside the top 20 just about every single stat category. When you look at the legacy you left, you brought the team to the tournament, you won 3 all-conference selections, all the stuff you won throughout your career. What does it mean to have the legacy that you left behind at Drexel?
I mean, like legacy is what it is. That was kind of just me just playing and not worrying about stats or anything. And just at the end of the day, I just want to be the best teammate that anyone could have, honestly. Just not, even though I have accolades, just not feeling like I was above anybody else or above any rules was the biggest thing for me. And just obviously being a straightforward guy, but yeah, I mean, I try to leave the best legacy I could, obviously.
What's your favorite accolade or number statistical wise you have? Was it being top 10 all time in scoring or assists or steals? Was it being the tournament MVP? Was it all the all conference selections? Like, what's your favorite accolade or thing that you accomplished in your career to you?
I would say tournament MVP, just because I know a lot of people don't have that trophy. I mean, a lot of people or a lot of different people are top 10 scoring or whatever, and have a lot of assists, but I feel like not a lot of people have that tournament MVP.
Well, let's head into this past process you've just gone through now, because you do enter your name in the transfer portal, and obviously because of the type of player you are today, countless schools are pursuing you. A lot of guys wanted you to be their point guard this year. When you entered your name in that portal, what has this process been like to ultimately, obviously you ended up going to Penn State, but just all the schools in the mix for you? Like, what was the whole transfer portal process like for yourself?
It was crazy. It was stressful. Especially when I first got in the portal. I mean, there was a lot of places calling me. You never know what place is the most serious about you, or you never know what school is telling the truth. So just like I said, it's stressful, but it gave me time to just build relationships with people and obviously talk to different coaches.
We saw the list that's being released to different schools that are reaching out to you, but who really did it come down to? Obviously, we know Penn State wasn't that mix for you, but was there a top 2, 3, 4 even for yourself that you really narrowed it down to more towards the end of it for you?
Yeah. I mean, at that time, I felt like I didn't really want to make uh, my top schools public a little bit.
Mhm.
Just try to focus on them and make my decision and not rely on social media or anything. I would say like it came down to Xavier, Penn State, and Florida. Probably was my three.
What was it about Penn State then? Because this obviously is a program. It's under a rebuild construction, obviously by Coach Shrewsberry, and he's done an incredible job so far in year one. I think he more than proved a lot of people wrong in terms of what they thought he could do, and he had an exceptional year one. But he comes in, you're talking about a couple of the good programs. Obviously, Sean Miller's coming in from Xavier, a well-accomplished, well-known coach. Florida is a big-name program as well, and Coach Golden's doing a great job so far as well. How did Coach Shrewsberry and Penn State win you over, though? What was it about them that you said, okay, this is where I want to finish my college career at?
Like I said before, just the relationships mean a lot to me, and knowing a coach on that staff prior really helped me. Just there's a lot of familiar faces, and I really like what he's doing over there. I think obviously we have a quarterback and we can be really good, so they kind of just separated themselves and being genuine and talking to me probably the most, and just like I said, just building a real relationship with me that's beyond basketball, and that'll help me when I'm done at Penn State.
When was it that you said, I want to go to Penn State? This is a school that I want to play at. How far be from when you announced it to when you actually knew that's where you wanted to go? What's the time span?
Probably a couple days. I obviously wanted to take my last two visits, but it was a little difficult situation. So
Mhm.
I knew that was a school that I obviously liked the most, just because of um, what I built with them throughout the month or so that I was in the portal. Uh, so just doing that. A couple days before I announced I was committing, I was like, this is what I want to do. It makes the most sense for me.
When you told Coach Shrewsbury and that staff that you're going to come to Penn State, how did you tell them? What was their reaction?
I called him in the morning. Obviously, I knew before that, but I called him in the morning, and he was obviously happy to hear that I was coming, and I was just grateful to have that opportunity to go to a school like that and have the impact right away that I don't think I'll be able to have.
I do want to ask you though, because you are a player that if you decide to call it a college career quits at this point in time, you leave as one of the most accomplished players in Drexel history. I think you would have been playing professional somewhere, rather be in the NBA or G League or overseas. Like there would have been opportunities available for yourself. You've already been to the tournament once. You've got all those accolades and awards. So you've pretty much accomplished just about everything that a lot of guys strive and have dreamed of accomplishing in college. So what was the purpose for this? Like, why would you say that you decided to say, I want to spend one more year in college? I'm going to go to Penn State, of course, but like, what was the reason? Like, what do you want to get out of this final year of college basketball for yourself?
I just want to play at the highest level. Obviously, keep getting better every day. I know um, that I can be a pro next year. So just challenging myself, getting stronger, just doing everything that I got to do to be the best version of myself when it's time to be a pro, and just obviously taking a step up and tweaking my game a little bit.
I want to go to Coach Shrewsbury a little bit more because he's still relatively new to the college basketball coaching world. And even from most experienced coaches, we don't get to see them off the court too much. We see them in interviews here and there, and we see them on the court, but you got to be around him a little bit off the court. You got to see him on phone calls and all that stuff. So, what is his personality like? Just getting to talk to him and hang out with him off the court. What is he like?
He's a funny guy. Tries to crack some jokes. Obviously, he's a little bit late. He's a little bit more laid back. But I mean, that's the type of coach that I felt like I wanted to play for in my last year. Someone who really relates to the players and knows understands obviously coming from the NBA what they go through. So yeah, I mean, all his players like him, so that's usually means a lot.
You haven't got to be around him too much yet, but what would you say has been your favorite memory you've created with him so far?
Uh, I don't know, probably when we were just driving around campus and he was cracking jokes and showing me around. Um, it kind of made me feel at home a little bit, and ultimately that was probably the reason I ended up picking Penn State. Away from just the basketball opportunity.
You got to walk us through that visit though, because it had to be a special experience for yourself. And obviously, you said they have the dead period come in, so that's kind of what stopped you from you to go to the other ones too and all. But you just get to experience the campus, go on a full-on visit. Then, what was that like?
I mean, it was great. I mean, I've been up there before, but going up there and just seeing everything inside out. I mean, it was a great visit. It's a great college town, and I just love the atmosphere there. So obviously, I felt like that was the best place for me, just in terms of the guys and the college town and everything.
From the time you touched down out there to the time you guys end up late leaving, what all did you get to do, and what all did they have you do throughout that visit?
Um, my visit was a little bit quicker just because I felt like I'm a fifth year. I don't have to see everything. It's more of a basketball decision for me. So I was only there for one night. Like I
Mhm.
came in the afternoon, left in the morning. Um, but I mean, I saw all the facilities, walked around, went inside Beaver Stadium. Obviously, one of the better stadiums, and if not the best stadium in college football. Um, just walked around the campus and just saw downtown and everything. So, I mean, I know what I'm walking into basically.
Well, this team is a good-looking team so far, and I'm not someone that makes the way too early stuff and all that because the reason I don't make them is because it is way too early, especially in today's game where just about every 2 minutes is a new transfer going into the portal or leaving, going to another school. So that could shift constantly. So at the end of the day, though, this is a team that has a lot of hype. There's a lot of potential. You guys bring back a couple more really experienced guys that are super seniors too, like yourself and Miles, and Jalen Pickett, two big-time players. You add in Andrew Funk, who's also a super senior coming in along with you. Then you bring in this top recruiting class, the best in program history, as well as a lot of the guys returning too. How excited are you for this team, and what do you think fans should be excited for? Like, why should fans be bought into this team, and just how special do you think that this team can be?
I mean, I think we can be great. Obviously, we have a lot of pieces. Freshmen coming in should be pretty good, and we have a lot of older guys, so it's a little bit of a mix of experience and fresh talent. I think obviously we have a lot of shooting from the perimeter, but we also have playmakers. A guy like Jalen Pickett could make plays for himself and other people and get inside and finish and score in different ways. And I feel like um, on my visit, I felt like after watching the team work out, watch him work out, I felt like my game could complement his a little bit. Just the way he scores and the way he plays and the pace he plays with. I felt like I could kind of play alongside a guy like that and just obviously make him better and he can make me better.
When you commit the very same day, Andrew commit as well. Did you two know each other prior to that? Did you kind of know it was going to be a bang bang the same day, or were you even surprised by that a little bit, or how did that work out?
No, we both knew that we had both committed before we announced it, probably like a day and a half before. So I mean, we both knew that they were going to release the news at the same time. So I mean, we talked the day before, the day of us committing, and we knew it was going to happen. So I mean, we've talked a little bit. He's a cool guy, so obviously can't wait to get up there and just start working.
Where does the roster stand as of now? Because obviously it's something that maybe you can't control. If someone randomly enters the portal or whatever happens, who knows at this point in time, today's game. But when you look at this team, has coach told you that we have another spot to fill? If so, like what are you guys looking for? And even if it's someone you're targeting, like, is there someone that coach said, this is the guy we want? You're trying to make a recruiting pitch to him. Like, where do you guys stand in terms of filling and finishing up this roster now?
I think if I had to guess, we're probably going to bring in another big guy.
Mhm.
I mean, we have a pretty loaded backcourt. In the front court, we have some shooters, obviously, and some guys that can make plays, and Seth and Miles. So probably just a big guy to fill that out and just complete the whole thing.
Is there one main target that coach said, we want you after this guy and you're trying to recruit right now?
Nah, I don't think I'm the recruit guy. Think he's got some other guys that's obviously been there and been in the program. So if I had to guess, those would be the recruiters.
Well, I know fans are going to be excited to get you out there. Well, what do you bring to Penn State now? When you do get out there and you start playing in front of this fan base out there in the Big Ten, what can they expect you to bring to Penn State?
Just competitiveness, obviously a new face. Um, who's trying to make a name on a bigger scene. So just playing hard every possession, trying to get wins. I mean, that's really all I care about is the amount of wins that we end the season with. So yeah, just a guy who's going to be a great teammate. Always got a smile on his face and is trying to get wins.
I know a huge thing that's also relatively new to the college basketball world is NIL. And obviously, I'm sure there might have been some forms of stuff you got at Drexel, but the magnitude of stuff you could possibly get at Penn State is a lot more than Drexel. So was that something that influenced you at all in this recruiting process? And at the same time, even if it didn't, like, did Coach Shrewsberry have a pitch to you? Did he talk about NIL with you?
I mean, we talked a little bit about NIL, but I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, for me, it was more about basketball and where I fit personally and what I can do to get to the next level. Because obviously, you can make some money in NIL, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to go pro, it's all about how much you can make at the pro level.
Yep.
So I felt like it was the best move for me basketball wise. Other schools had obviously better opportunities in the NIL deals, but I mean, that didn't really sway my decision.
I do know that all guys want to be remembered for something. So when you do leave Penn State in a year, what do you want to be remembered for whatever you accomplish both on and off the court there?
Probably just a winner, a great person to come in contact with, just obviously down to earth. And like I said, a winner, someone who came in and increased the wins and put the program in a better position than he found it.
My final thing for you, give Penn State fans your 3 biggest goals that you have set for your 1 year out there.
Obviously, be in the tournament next year, be able to make a run, be a great Big Ten team, whether that's winning a Big Ten championship or just being in the top half for the Big Ten. But obviously, being a great Big Ten team and up in the win total.
Absolutely, man. Well, Cam, congratulations on the commitment. I'm excited to see what God's got next for you, man. Enjoy the rest of the off season and appreciate taking time to come on today, man.
Appreciate you having me. Really enjoyed it.
Of course, man. You're always welcome on. God bless.
Thank you.